I just want to quickly introduce everyone. We have SAG-AFTRA actor for over 16 years, 19 years, acting coach in Atlanta and Los Angeles for over a decade, Alex Collins. Her clients have been in major network television shows. She is the founder of the Hollywood Winter Circle Academy and talent managers for actors, Wendy Alane Wright. Acting coach for over 20 years, Meisner expert, the reason we are all here, and founder of the Houde School of Acting, Jessica Houde-Morris. Houde student, teacher, founder of the Actors Career Center. Kurt has over 75 IMDb credits. Kurt Yue. And last but not least, casting director for over 25 years. She has cast many, many talented actors that we all know, including Miley Cyrus, Jonah Hill, Selena Gomez, and Emma Stone.
Hold on, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston.
That too.
There's my PR right here.
Author of From Start to Stardom, Lisa London. So for all of you, what is something that you would tell everyone just starting out, or even if you could tell yourself when you were starting early in your career, some piece of advice that you could give?
So we talked a little bit about, I can't remember which group we talked about it in, but there's two phrases that I think every actor should absorb. The first one is let it go. 3 most important words for an actor. It's not personal. It's never personal. It's not about you. There's a million reasons why you won't get the job. And even if you were given that information, it doesn't matter. How does it change your life? Let it go. Statistically, you're not going to book the audition.
Right.
So lead your life. The moment you walk out that audition room, it's gone. So when you get the phone call, the good news phone call, it's awesome, right? Acting is one part of what we do as complete human beings. So let it go is really important. And especially for younger actors, newer actors, and females and women identifying, know your no. What are you not comfortable with? Nudity, certain subject matters, right? Because if you know that and you've communicated that with your reps up front, they're not going to be frustrated with you. But if you're a vegan and you've not told your commercial agent that, and you get a McDonald's audition and then the callback, and then you book that commercial, and you're like, wait, I got to eat a Big Mac 47 times in this commercial? That's going to be a problem, and your agent is going to be frustrated with you, and casting is going to be frustrated with your agent, and casting is going to have to now go to their producer, and they're going to have to come back and pick their second choice. This time is money, so just be upfront with them. Nobody's going to be mad with you if you're upfront and transparent with that. So know your no and let it go.
That's a shirt. Know your no and let it go. If I could give myself a piece of advice, what would I? Well, first of all, life will be constantly changing, and who you are will be always changing, and what you want will continue to evolve. As long as you keep going for whatever it is you want in this moment with 100% of who you are, it will lead you down the road you're supposed to be on. And as you get down that road, you'll find new things that you didn't even think or know you wanted that will start to take you in a different direction, because your life is always unfolding and your plan is just a plan. So live in this moment and think of everything that you are so lucky to have. And that will help stave off the sadness that you didn't get that role or that depression or whatever else. Live in gratitude.
So I would say trust the process and be patient. I feel like we have a tendency just as humans to be so impatient and want now, 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 now. And, you know, learning something like this, which is, you know, a craft, it takes time, and we have to be okay with where we're at now and not want to jump, you know, forward. And I think that's what I struggle with a lot of actors, is like, I want to get to this point, but we're not there yet. So let's be okay with where we're at and be happy with that and learn and grow there. And so then we can be the best us there to move on to the next point. That's what I would say.
I love that, Jess. Yeah.
So, you know, Alex said, know your no, and I think that's really important, and especially a lot of people, many of you here are just getting started. We all start non-union. We all start without representation. And because of that, we have to be our own advocates for that, right? So oftentimes your agents are going to know certain things that are not worth it, or not going to be good for your careers or on that particular job. But if you don't have representation, or you're on a non-union job where the union also isn't protecting you, you have to be more diligent about that, right? So when you're auditioning for student films and short films and things like that, and if there is something that seems unsafe, we have to be the ones to speak out about it. I mean, we've seen so many independent projects that are using real weapons, right? Pulling out real knives, or God forbid, real guns on set, right? So definitely watch out for those types of things too.
Yes. Don't take it too seriously. And you know what? That's like the best piece of advice that I can impart to you guys. Because like for me, I mean, there's been many moments in my life where I didn't get a job that I really wanted, and I was upset about it. And I would always call my dad. I still do. And I'm like, Dad, oh my God. And he's like, okay, so you didn't get it. Next. He's always like, next one. He goes, and it has nothing to do with your talent as a casting director. It's just that one wasn't the one. And I say, okay. So that's my best piece of advice for you guys. You cannot take this too seriously.
What are some professional behaviors that you always implement when you're on set?
The professionalism on set, right? One of the things I always, and it took me a while to kind of get there, because the first time you're on a major production, you're just all in your head, not thinking about anything else, just thinking about your own nerves. But after a while, it's about trying to build relationships. Think about it like you're going to any workplace, right? You're happier being with people that you like to work with, where you know their name, they know your name, you're at least friendly with each other. So build relationships, and not just with the other actors on that. They're all the crew members. Thanking all the crew members. At the end of the day, they're there longer than we are, working harder, getting paid less, especially the PAs, right? They're there doing all the grunt work. And running around with like people in their ear yelling at them all the time, right? So I've tried to really make a point. One of the things I do is, we'll get the call sheet the day before going on set. It's got all the names on there of everybody. Highlight them. When you meet them, highlight them, because we don't know who they are when we're there, or before we get there. But once we're there, we meet the makeup artists and the hairstylists and the PAs. Write that down. Remember their names. If you're good with names, you remember. If not, like I do, I'll write it down or circle it, and then make sure to thank them at the end of the day.
That's interesting.
I do the exact same thing. And in one of the courses that I teach, I kind of take it a step further. There are 4 people I absolutely must make contact with on a professional set. And it's not always the director, and it's not always the showrunner. Those are both wonderful people. But when you're first starting out, especially if you have a smaller co-star in TV, you might not even meet the director. They're dealing with the showrunner. They're dealing with executive producers and network folks. They got 28 things to do, so you're probably going to deal with someone else, the first AD. So in order, for me, the 4 people that I want to create a relationship with, the base camp PA, that's when you first get to set. That's your first point of contact. Hi, I'm Sheila. I'm the base camp PA. Hi, Sheila. I'm Alex. So nice to see you. Thanks for having us. Because they are the bottom of the food chain. They got the longest day, the least amount of reward, and they're just grinding. They're just grinding it out, and their day is going to be rough. Every day for a PA is rough, right? The best day for a PA is rough. And so you're thanking them, beginning of the day, end of the day. The other thing is, don't ever disappear. If you're going to go to the bathroom, if you're going to go to Crafty, if you're going to wander off, hi, Sheila, I'm just going to go get a snack. I'll be right back, right? Because sets tens of thousands of dollars per minute, per hour. And it takes an army of people to get things ready. You've been waiting for 9 hours, and then it's your time to work, and they can't find you? That's a problem. So base camp, really important. Then when it is go time, hi, first team, we're going to have you get in the van. We're going to take you over to set. Right when you get there, Barry will meet you. Barry is your set or first team PA. So that's the second person I want to meet. Base camp PA, first team or set PA on the set. Hi, I'm Barry, follow me, I'm gonna take you to holding. The green room is right over here. We're shooting over there, they're just finishing setup, but our green room is right over here. Your cast chairs are already ready. Thank you, Barry, really appreciate that. I'm just gonna grab a bottle of water real quick. Okay, those two people right there. And then on the set itself, the first point of contact you'll have is gonna be the first AD. They are the person running the show, really. They're the ones communicating with everybody. They're taking direction and orders from the director and from the showrunner, but they are the ones making sure all the puzzle pieces are in place. They make their day on that day, or they don't make their day on that day because of the first AD. Well, yeah. Most important person on a set, really. Not the most senior, but the most important. And then the fourth person for me, and this is very difficult if you're only there for one day, but if you're there for more than one day, or you're recurring, the DP, director of photography, they can make you look great. Or not, right? If you listen, you'll hear them. Listen for the numbers. They're like, hey, we're going to change to a 70. We're going to change to a 100mm lens. And if you're an educated actor, you know what that means. The higher the number, the closer in they're getting, which means me as an actor, the less movement I've got, right? And so if you create a relationship with the DP, because you've looked at the call sheet, hi, Bob, I'm Alex. Really excited to work with you. I loved what you did on the blah, blah, blah show. Right? You're not blowing smoke up anybody's ass. You're being honest. Don't just randomly pick a credit, okay? Because what'll happen, you can be in the middle of a shot. The cameras are rolling, right? I'm doing a scene with an actor here, and I can see Bob sitting right there, and he's going like this. So I just shift my weight while I'm engaging in the scene, and now I'm closer to the center of the frame because Bob wants to help me out right there. So it's a wonderful relationship, and you will work with people again and again and again. Today's PA is tomorrow's second AD. Today's second AD is tomorrow's first AD, and so on and so forth.
You know, I was a production assistant before I got into casting. That's what I did. But I'm going to tell you guys this. Kindness matters. When you're on a set, when you're going in for callbacks, whatever, if they're in person, however it is, kindness matters. Do not be a jerk. I'm telling you. It's a really, you guys probably go, oh yeah, Lisa, that's so obvious. Yes, I'm telling you, it is. Of course it is. But I always get the phone calls from the producer and the director and the ADs and all the people when the actor shows up late, doesn't know their lines, doesn't bring their wardrobe, is not professional, acts like a jerk. I always get those calls. And you guys probably don't think of this, but when we hire you, we say, okay, this person's perfect for the job. You make us look good. So when we get those phone calls, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I have to call up the agent or the manager, and I have to say, okay, we have a problem, and this is what happened, and it's super embarrassing. And so I'm just telling you guys, be kind. You can gauge the mood and the pulse on a set when you go to hair and makeup. Right? If it's a stoic, quiet room, it's not because it's 6 a.m., it's because there's a lot of sensitive subject matter that's going to be shot that day, and number 1 and number 2 on the call sheet right over there, they need to be in their space. Honor that. Don't be cutting up, don't be making jokes. But you can walk in at 6:01 a.m. to a hair and makeup trailer, and they've got like, they've got Justin Timberlake rocking, and they're already like, and everybody's gregarious and warm and fun. You're like, okay, it's professional, but all right, this is kind of a warmer, they're a little loosey-goosey, and you can also mirror that, right? You're not going to joke around, but you go, okay, it's cool. I can, hey, what's up? Hi, I'm Alex. I'm really excited to be here. Versus like just kind of chill out a little bit if it's a bit more serious.
Awesome, thank you. So who has a question for anyone up here? Paulina.
Hey, I have a question for Kurt Yue. Hey Kurt, I'm Paulina. So my question to you is because you come from a STEM corporate world background, and I'm in STEM in the corporate world as well. And I would like to know like a couple of key takeaways or advice you would give me for transitioning from a STEM corporate world to a completely different industry, being a working actor.
First of all, thank you for being here, and thanks for the question. I think it's interesting when I think about this, and over the years, I've kind of had my views have shifted a little bit. right now, I think, number one, don't lose that, even if you transition completely out of it, because when I look at the types of roles that I've played over the course of my career, it really, like, a lot of it kind of gravitates towards that anyway. You know, when Wendy talks about, you know, finding your types and what are the types that you are most likely to get cast in. For me, it was easy. It was like, it's all those types of roles that was already my previous career, you know? So I think that's really important, and that goes for everybody, no matter what your, whatever your current job is or whatever you currently do. Like, that's what you know. That requires less acting when you audition for those types of roles or when you're on set for those types of roles, right? And then as far as moving forward, it was different for me because I didn't have to quit my job. I was working as a contractor, so it was like 6-month contract, 12-month contract, and I had finished a contract, or a contract was ending at the end of 2013. And so that job was planned to end. And I just kind of decided, well, let's give it 6 months and not interview for another job, and just try to take some more time for auditions and put some more time into acting class and see what happens. And then if things don't go well and I blow through all my savings, then I'll go get another IT job. And then 6 months went past and I was all right. I'd gotten some little side hustles going on, and I was still, treading water, and then started working a little bit more and booking a little bit more, and then 6 months turned into a year, turned into 2 years, and turned into the last, however many it's been now, 8 years since I've been in my full-time job. But I think, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday too, I think it's important that as actors, we look at our side hustles or whatever it is that we're doing to make money to help sustain our careers financially. We look at the side hustles as just as big a part of our acting career as your agent or your manager or your headshot or your demo reel. Something that we have to put time into, because Alex was saying this earlier, like, you're always going to need that secondary source of income. There's always, no matter at what level you are, you're at the series regular level, your show could get canceled. And then you had this lifestyle that you built up. And who was the actress that just, from Euphoria, right? Yeah. You could build up this great lifestyle, and all of a sudden the show gets canceled. So this is not to scare you guys, right? But it's just to understand that the ups and downs of this career, and having the acting income being so unreliable, that being able to go to an audition not needing the money is so freeing, right? Being able to go into an audition and be able to focus completely on the work and the craft is very freeing. So if you're in a career where it's a full-time job and it's not as flexible to be able to audition or to be able to book out, then, and it's not like today you have to leave that job, but start researching, start seeing what you can find that might be out there that, and Alex talked about this yesterday too, you may have to take a pay cut, but that pay cut allows for flexibility, right? And then that allows you to take that next step forward. And then it's not like that if you take that pay cut and it's not a job that you love, that's not forever either. Right? Continue to work on that, just like you continue to get updated headshots and updated demo reels, and maybe find a new agent or a better agent. You think about that with your side hustles too. And Alex and I are both lucky enough now to have our side hustles be all industry related, and it's fantastic. But yeah, long answer to your question. But I think that thinking long term about it and gradually moving forward is the best way to go.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Before we get to the next one, Lisa, from your perspective as a casting director, back when we used to do in-person auditions, can you sense that tension and desperation from an actor who just, I got to pay rent this month, I really need it?
Well, Well, yeah, when an actor comes in a room, you can always tell the people that feel that, yeah, they're more like that anxiety ridden about the desperation, I'll say that, versus just relaxed and, you know, here and okay. You know, you get it, you don't, you do your best. The whole idea when you come in, even when you get a call back, and I think I said this to one group, is you always bring your A game to every audition, because we will remember you, even if you don't get that part. We will remember you for a different part in a project or for a different part in another project. Can't, like I said, be stuck in the losses of the past ones you didn't get, because that reads. You know, when you come in and you've got all that sort of loss or anxiety about all the ones you didn't get, it registers. You know what I mean? You might not think it does, but it does.
Thank you for that. All right, I see Diana has a question in the back.
Yeah. Hi guys. My question is, what is the best piece of advice you would give for if we do advance our careers like significantly, when you're going into those sessions that are like pilot season, whether it's or potential guest star situation, you're going up to call back to call back to call back to network. Or producer sessions, what would you say is the best piece of advice for consistency throughout those auditions?
If you're going call back, you're already doing the thing. Don't. There's a terminology. I do triathlon, like Ironman triathlon races, and there's a terminology that athletes have called you never do anything new on race day.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? If you've been doing it in training, if you've been doing it over and over again, you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. Don't fuck it up, right? Yeah. There's a reason, like, when you got a callback, you're going to do the same thing. Actors are like, I'm going to show them 7 different choices than I gave them in the first audition. That's not why they gave you the callback in the first place. If they want you to do something different, they'll let you know, and that's fine. Be prepared and flexible and dynamic to change. But if you're already getting in the rooms and doing the things, you're aces already. Now, if you're talking about psychologically, I'm constantly competing. I'm booking that work at a bigger level now. I'm making more money. My career is an elevated standard. Find a mentor. Someone who's 5 to 10 years ahead of you, similar to you, and there's no money exchanging hands with a mentor. That's different than a coach and a teacher, and both of those are valuable as well. But a mentor is someone you can go, hey man, I'm ready to jump off the bridge. It's been a while. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Nothing's sticking. Hey man, take a deep breath. I was there. I was a series regular and the show got canceled after 4 episodes. I'd already mentally pictured the house that I bought. Right?
Yeah.
I always say, I've got a lot of friends who are series regulars in television. And I always say your first series regular is the least amount of money you'll make as an actor. Your checks are a lot bigger, but so are your expenses. Yeah. Right? True. And so are your obligations, and so are your stressors. So find a mentor.
Great. Josie, I see your hand.
Hi. So, one question as well. So since in this industry, there's a lot of us. We're one face in a sea of faces. So kind of like your example, if you guys have a specific example of someone that really stuck with you and what they did to make an impact and you just remember them.
I think this is something that everybody kind of touched on yesterday already, is find your tribe, find a group of people that support you and you support them, and then within your tribe, and then overall in your career too, don't play that comparison game. Right? Everybody's got their own path. There's no one right way here. Success is not linear. Some people are going to find success right away, and some people it's going to take a while, and there's no rhyme or reason behind it, nothing that we can control sometimes, right? So the person that sticks out in my head, I'm not going to mention her name because there's might be an NDA attached to what she's working on right now. But when I first came to Atlanta, I started classes at Drama Inc., and I was taking the scene study class with Claire Bronson and Scott Poitras, 2 wonderful actors and wonderful teachers there. And there was an actress there who had been there a couple years already before me, had moved to Atlanta a couple years before I did, and had been in class for 2 years longer in Atlanta before I arrived. And I was very fortunate to come to Atlanta and start working right away. And by the time I started classes at Drama Inc., I had already booked like 3 things in Atlanta. And this actress had been there much longer, hadn't booked a single co-star, nothing on her resume, and was just grinding. But the positive of it was, like, we in that class, we found our tribe. It was a very great community, just like the community that Jessica has built here in this school. We found our community, and because of that community, she was so supportive of the rest of us that were finding success in that class. I remember when I had my role in the movie Tag, she helped organize a group outing from the class to all go watch the movie and support me in that, right? And then fast forward a couple of years, so then more years later, after I continued to book, you know, and she's a great friend of mine now, and I can see how, you know, it can be hard, it can be frustrating when you have actor friends that are succeeding and you're just not, and you're doing the same things, you're in the same classes, right? But then she booked her first co-star, and then like the floodgates just opened. She got her first co-star, and then another one, and then a guest star, and then a recurring guest star, and then all of a sudden this past year she's on an HBO show, major HBO show, got booked for 7 or 8 episodes, major recurring guest star, is going to be a huge player in this season, way above scale pay rate. So like, she's gotten to the point where she's booked multiple roles way bigger than anything that I've gotten. Right, but it took that extra time for whatever reason. Success is not linear. Don't play that comparison game. It wasn't that she was better or worse or anything like that. It's just our careers just take different paths, right? And I'm so happy for her and so proud of her, and it's just awesome to see that success happen, how hard she has worked, and then how much she has supported for her friends and not compared, and is now seeing amazing success right now.
I did a sketch comedy show for Fox many years ago called The Edge. It was before Mad TV. It was a show Jennifer Aniston was in it, and Julie Brown, and Wayne Knight, who ended up on Seinfeld, and it's got all these very funny people. But what the thing was, the auditions were, you had 2 minutes to come in and do audition do different characters. That's what they wanted, because it was a sketch comedy show. So you had 2 minutes, you could come in, you could create whatever characters you want. So I was at the CBS Radford lot, which you guys probably don't know, which is a lovely lot in Studio City. It's been there forever. Mary Tyler Moore, all these old comedies and great shows shot there, Seinfeld, everything. Anyway, so so this guy came into my office, you know, and he was, I'm going to say overweight, not a problem. That's not a problem at all. So he came in, character guy, you know, and he proceeded, like, and this is seriously, guys, true story, he stood on my little coffee table, and he put on some music, and he started doing this little dance thing, and I was like, okay, where's this going, you know? And I had no idea. And the guy, swear to God, starts stripping off the clothes. Now, look, this is way before, this is like, I forget when we did this show, if it was way before Friends, so, you know, it was before Friends, so it's before all the Me Too stuff and all that. So he strips, he keeps stripping, and I'm sitting in there, and I'm like, I'm so in shock that I don't stop it, right? Like, I'm like, no, like, he's not really going to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're so flabbergasted that you're like, no, okay, he's going to stop this, right? And he keeps going, and he keeps going, and he goes down. He strips all the way down, and he has, swear, a little, like, reindeer thing over his private parts. And I am, like, mortified, and like I sat there and I was like, I couldn't even comment. Like, it was like, yeah, okay then, yeah. anyways, yeah. So the guy, obviously, I go, you know, before you walk out, might put your clothes back on. You know what I mean? And so the guy obviously left, and no, and so that hysterical. One day, I don't know how, like years later, right? And believe you me, I remember the guy's name. I have never forgotten it. It's in my head forever. I'm not going to tell you guys. But one day, like years later, I think he saw me on Instagram or something, and he DM'd me, and he said, "Hi, remember me?" And I said, "I will never forget you." Swear to God. And he goes, I go, because I remember that day when you auditioned for The Edge. And he was like, yeah, me too. Like, it was just like, oh my God. So I'm just telling you, that was a crazy story.
Yeah, so this is kind of a general question. I know Alex knows a lot about this. What should every actor know and do about finance as a lifelong practice?
So if you are constantly in a position where you are barely keeping your head above water, you're never going to get ahead. That's a struggle. There's 168 hours in the week. You have time to learn a new discipline. You have time to learn another skill. All of us are in this forever. All of you have decades ahead of you as an actor, right? Who cares if it takes you 2 years to get a certificate in coding or graphic design or real estate or paralegal or legal transcription, whatever it is? Oh, it's going to take me 2 years to get that, man. Yeah, you got 45 years left doing this. And then you've got a way to work from a laptop. You've got a way to work while you're in Cleveland doing this, right? You can set up flexible clients, right? A lot of actors in Atlanta a lot of our friends are real estate agents, and that's a hustle. Everybody thinks that's a quick fix, and that's 5 to 7 years of grinding, because it's all just like our business, relationship-based and referral-based. But once you've made it over that hump, again, 5 to 7 years, I got 40 years left. And now I've got a team. I have a real estate team, and someone else is doing the open houses on the weekend. Someone else is doing the showings and the staging and dealing with the paperwork, right? So think long-term. Life might suck right now. I might be in debt right now. I may be in a low-wage job right now. I'm just surviving. Okay, that's okay today. But get to a place where you you pivot from survival to thrival. The idea of this like bohemian idea of the starving artist is bullshit. It's an expired methodology that doesn't need to exist. All of you have unique talents outside of this business that you can parlay into financial compensation. Spanish tutor, LSAT teaching, GMAT certification, whatever it is. Dude, tutors, $150 an hour. $200 an hour if you're doing GMAT, LSAT, MCAT teaching, tutoring. It's crazy. There's so much out there. So much out there. Soccer coach, 30, 40, $50 an hour. Swim coach, right? There's a lot of stuff that can be done. Just right now, think about what you've got. One of my good friends loves to bake. She stress bakes. So she bakes cookies. Every acting class, she bakes cookies, muffins, pies, cakes, crumbles, I don't know. And I was like, and I said, Corey, you're sitting on a gold mine. Right. She now has a certified commercial kitchen in her house and a Cookie of the Month Club where she batch makes 2 days a week, and she ships out dozens and dozens of boxes all around the country. So now that has taken all the pressure off of needing, oh man, and now you're not desperate in that audition. I need this to pay my car payment. I need this to pay rent, right? We can spell that. So think long term, then minimize that to medium term, and then bring that into the near term.
So I also agree, and I think if anything in life, if we want to be successful, you know, it's all about the hustle and how much work you're going to put into it. I mean, it's like Kurt and I were talking about this space here. And this didn't just happen. I mean, it's like we kind of look at this, and I love this space. It's freaking amazing, right? But my first space that I had was like, gosh, maybe the size of this carpet, and going out to, I mean, it was tiny, and I worked as, literally, I cleaned floors. I mean, you guys look at me, and you're like, do you clean floors? I worked at a factory. I cleaned floors. I worked as a receptionist, and I helped out doing, I can't remember what else, but I had 3 jobs, plus I taught 1 day a week, and that was it. And so when he first started taking classes, I was literally 1 day a week, but I couldn't afford to pay the rent in this tiny little place, but I was like, I want this. This is my dream. I am going to have an acting school and I know I can teach. I'm passionate about it, so it's going to happen. So I literally worked so many hours. And I feel like that's what I talk about, patience and you know, sticking with it. And it's like a lot of us are like, I want it now, 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 now. But it takes work. It takes, like, a lot of my family members are like, oh, you're successful. And I'm like, yeah, because I work my freaking ass off. Like, I work and work. And I don't stop because I continue to want to do more and more, right? And I think that's the big thing, is trying to figure out what can we do to continue to work when we're not working on our passion, you know? And so for me, it was like, I'm going to clean floors. I don't care. I lost weight doing it anyways. I was walking around this huge factory. I was like, that was the best weight of my life. Yeah. It was the best weight of my life because I was literally just walking for 8 hours cleaning, you know, with a sweeper and then like some sort of a cleaning machine. But that's what I did. And then I went to a receptionist and then I came and taught. And so, you know, that's my thing, is I think it's just hard work and just pushing and pushing. Yeah.
I was actually going to tell this story later on, because I just learned that. I mean, when I first started taking classes with Jessica, it was 1 day a week, Mondays or Thursdays or what? Monday nights, because most of our students had day jobs, right? So it was evening classes, and I think when I signed up for classes, there were like 6 of us, like 5, and then me, and then you know, and then so there were 6 of us, and nobody would have known. Nobody would have known that she had just spent 8 hours sweeping floors and then came to teach, right? Because she gave so much to the students when she came into the school, and it looked like that she had just spent 8 hours that day prepping for class. So absolutely that hustle to do something that you believe in, and it's amazing to see, you know, how much the school has grown until now, from 6. And before, because I wasn't one of your first students, right? You had just like a couple when you first started, right? Yep. To what is it, 80 some people that are coming in from all over. It's awesome. So cool. It's awesome. Yep.
I got one more thing to say.
Tell us.
We talked about this in one of the 3 groups, and I'm really sad I didn't talk about it in the other ones, but we're gonna talk about this when I break up into the session later. But since we've got the whole audience, I want to touch on this, since it's about finance, and that's a dirty little secret. And the more we're transparent about it and share, and when you book work, the more you share what your billing is and how much you're making, the more you can empower your friends to negotiate as well. That's a larger conversation, but I touched on this yesterday. A lot of us, if you're really being honest with yourself as an actor, you want full-time results on part-time effort, right? A corporate job, minimum 40 hours a week. None of you are doing 40 hours on your acting career. You're not. And that's not to disparage any of you. I'm not. I have to be realistic with that. I can move the needle and do more. Unless you're in tech week of rehearsals for a play, you're not doing 40 hours a week. How many hours are you in class? How many hours are you prepping for that class? How many auditions a week do you get? How many hours are you prepping each audition? What are you working on your physical life? What are you working on your financial life, right? That doesn't equal 40 hours. So there is more that you can do. Don't willy-nilly waste that time. Got to be efficient and smart and targeted. But if you want full-time results, you can't do it on part-time effort. You can't.
So the question is, when you guys were first starting out, is there any rookie mistakes that you made that you look back at now and just shake your head like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that?
Yeah.
Or have you noticed any rookie mistakes from newer actors today and you just want to help them?
No.
Can you tell us so we don't make mistakes?
No rookie mistakes.
It's hard to say, because when I don't know if I've told this story to everybody, but when I first started, I wasn't looking to become an actor, so I started off looking for something to do after work, and Jessica tells this story, but probably embellishes it a bit, and tells everybody that I'm drunk. I was drunk and I walked into class and I was falling all over the floor. I did find the school after leaving a bar. Yeah. But that's because her old location was on Coventry, and it was like right on the street with a bunch of bars. But it was you know, after midnight, and so obviously she wasn't there anymore. But
What, you looked up at the sign, you were drunk, and said, "Oh my God."
Yeah. That's exactly. That's exactly.
What? I should try that.
That's exactly what it was.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, because I was working software developer, cubicle life in a corporate world.
Mistake. This is not the mistake part of the conversation, right?
Right.
To the school.
Yeah. So that's how I found it, and then I started classes and kept doing it because I thought it was fun, and never, even when I was taking classes, I never knew that there were students in the class that had an agent. Very naive to the industry, just thought everything that was on TV or was made in Hollywood was made in California. So not really thinking that, oh yeah, a local commercial would be made locally, right? It didn't occur to me that they didn't fly out to California to shoot like the local car commercial. Yeah. Yeah. So those are the things that like I didn't realize and I didn't understand about the industry. But I don't know if I necessarily made like the types of mistakes that newer actors do in like trying to do too much, because I wasn't trying to do those things. I just kind of let everything come my way, and the way that I got my first agent here in Cleveland, I wasn't really pursuing. It was because Marisa, one of the other students and classmate of mine, she was represented by an agency, and she was the one that told me about them and introduced me to them. So to me, I don't see really what I was doing as any of the things that I did that I didn't advance my career forward. I don't really see it as a mistake at the time, because I wasn't necessarily trying to do it at that point.
I always say this: you can't know what you don't know, right? So as soon as you know, then you're now responsible for not doing that. Until you are given the facts, you're going to make all kinds of mistakes. When you make mistakes, you don't beat yourself up over them. Like if you learn that you made a mistake, and most human beings have a bat in their hand, and when they make a mistake, they beat themselves over the head for the mistake they made. Year after year, they're still beating themselves up over a mistake they made 5 years ago. That is just the wrong way to live life. I think the most important thing in this business and in your life is be in the present moment. The past is gone, not a damn thing you can do about it, and the future isn't here yet, so don't future forecast. What you do is you plan a goal and you work your ass towards it, but you don't think of every possible outcome that could go wrong, because what in the heck does that do for you? And you don't beat yourself up over mistakes, because mistakes is how you learn, and it's how you become great. It's how you become good, and it's how you grow as a person. It makes you stronger. So I think if you can stop doing those two things, you're going to do just great. That's my thought.
So my very first co-star booking in Los Angeles many, many, many years ago was on a TV show called Boston Public. But this was a kind of like a flashback scene. I was playing an 82nd Airborne soldier in Iraq, and we were in a Humvee, and the main guest star of the episode gets shot by a sniper and killed, so I have to jump out of the turret and start shooting the .50 caliber machine gun. And so the very first take, I'm like a kid, and I hop up and action. Oh God, okay, get up. And I went, yeah. Because what do you do as a kid when you're playing war with your friends? So, cut. Director's a very famous actor, Michael Rappaport, right? Hey kid, can you not make the fucking machine gun sounds? Wait, what? You were making the fucking the sounds of the .50 cal. Can you not fucking do that? We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that in post. We'll fix that. I didn't know I was doing that. I'm sorry. Second take. Going through the action, I pop up and I went, go, go, go. and got through it. So personally embarrassed. First, I mean, that wasn't a rookie mistake. It was just not being in the moment, right? So, all right. On a slight. He's awesome. He's awesome. But on a slightly more serious note, like, this business is full of rejection. This business is full of no. This business is full of being told we're not good enough, right? That's outside noise. Don't add to that from yourself. Like Wendy's saying, stay in the present. Don't beat yourself with the bat. There are 3 words that you should eliminate from your vocabulary today. Just, only, and aspiring. Oh, I just booked a local commercial. It was only a student film. It was just a one-line co-star. Fuck that, man. Take up that space. Do you know how difficult it is to book a one-line co-star on network TV? You booked it. Thousands of people were submitted. Dozens or hundreds of tapes came in. You had to be passed from the casting director who had to be a champion for you. They're on our side, guys. They had to be a champion for you and take you to producers. And the producers and the network, it all had to go up to suits who are not creatives sometimes. And it only took one person along that entire chain to say no. And it wasn't your job to have. But they all said yes. And it came back down, casting, this is our choice. And then casting gets to call your agent, and then your agent calls you. So booking a job is a small miracle. So don't diminish that light. Oh, it's just a one-line co-star. Yeah. Take up that space.
Alex, you're a genius.
Great.
So true.
I'm going to come over here. John Franco.
And you kind of, I want to talk to you, Lisa, because you're kind of behind the table. I wanted to ask, what are some key things you find, you kind of touched upon it up there, on making stronger, bolder choices that stand out and make a performance more dynamic and memorable? And what are some things you find in actors that really stand out to you and you think we can all learn from here?
Okay, so my main thing, which I did touch upon in one of those groups yesterday, or maybe all of them, but it's really about, for me, when you read a piece of material, it's looking at it and go, okay, what's the scene about? How am I going to play this character? Understanding how your role fits in within the scene, right? Who are you talking to? All those things on how you break it down. But it comes down to what I call it making a bold choice. But when you say, what does that mean? I'm saying it means commit to your choice. I can't sell you to do the same thing as him. You know what I mean? It's what's your take on it versus what's his take on it. It's committing to the choice. A lot of actors, they don't do it. They just make a choice, and a lot of times if I was showing you a bunch of self-tapes, you would see the people do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But the guys who stand out are the ones who maybe do something a little bit different. It's bringing your unique personality to a role. And it's being authentic. And being authentic is, whether it's comedy or drama, it's still being authentic. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. When you look at look at Will Ferrell, and he plays some of the craziest characters, but he's being authentic for that character. That's what he created, and he commits all the way through, So it's really about that. It's up to you. There's no right, there's no wrong answer. The choice, which we talked about the definition, it's a decision, and the choice is yours. So that's what I mean. I think a lot of actors get afraid. I think they get scared. I think they hold back. I think they go, oh, that's stupid. I think they get in their heads. I see it all the time. I'm not only in teaching, but I can tell in auditions that guys, I've seen people who are doing an audition and judging every line as they're saying it. They're judging it. You can see it. So you can't do that. Just be the character, commit to the choice.
So we had a kind of a neat example yesterday, and some of you guys were here for the Meisner class, and I'm not going to call out anyone. But my thing is understanding fully everything going on. And so I want to kind of throw out the example to kind of, explain to you guys. We had someone that set up a relationship. And the relationship, the scene was basically, they were sisters, and as sisters, the one sister is in an abusive relationship. The other sibling told her, I think you should get out. I think it's a bad idea to be with him, and, you know, and continued to say, don't be with this person. Now, the sibling called up and said, I need help. It's gotten to a point where it's really bad right now, and she needs to come over. She's like, I can't be home here right now. I'm in a bad position. She comes over crying, right? So some of you guys saw this. She comes over crying, and she was really, really upset. And it broke my heart, right? And so the sibling that had told her, you know, in the past, you should leave him, done. Her initial was pissed off when she saw her, and that's okay. It's okay, you know, to have that point of view about being pissed off, but now we need to look further than that. And I think this is what we miss a lot of times, because even though it's just, you know, you told her you need to break up with him, it doesn't matter. We are all different, and she's still with him, and this is your sister, and you love her. And I think if we look and find empathy in what's going on with everyone else and not judge, then we will be so much more dynamic as actors, and we will feel so much more. And I told this person, I was like, hey, I think we as actors just judge and jump to the superficial, and we don't look at the bigger picture. And if we can really live and really find that, that's when we're going to be better. And it's not, it's about choices. I agree. I totally agree. But ultimately, really understanding what's going on in the scene and understanding everyone and everything is so important. And then we add those choices. Yes. Then we have the bold choices. That's my opinion, is really finding those moments is going to make you that better actor.
Sarah.
My question is, I guess, also for Jessica, kind of off of that. We talked about, like, what are things that actors can do in an audition room, but what are the actors that stand out in class to you as doing the things that they should, or are living truthfully, and you're seeing something special in them? What does that look like to you from the teacher perspective?
So it's interesting. I've been teaching for over 20 years, and I can probably, you know, think about 20 people that really stand out to me that I'll never forget, even though they've gone sometimes different paths and done different things. One person in particular is Paul, which Kurt and I know. He was a neurosurgeon, but he was taking classes. He's like, this would be a fun thing. He's going to school for that, and now he's changed his path into doing cosmetic surgery, I think. But he
big cosmetic surgeon in Manhattan.
Now, yeah. Now, my biggest thing, Kurt is another one. I have several students that I, always pop to mind, and I think the big thing with all these people is just the dedication that they had, and persistence at continuing to, even though, like we were saying, we're failing, but that's the way we grow, right? So continuing to come to class each week. Leia's a good example. She's sitting in front of me, but she does not miss a class. She comes to like 4 classes a week, and she freaking is amazing. She's always my example because she works her ass off, right? And I think that's a big thing. None of us are going to be great right away. I mean, you guys have heard the story of me. I sucked to start. I got to the point, and this is going to be funny for those of you up here, but where Robert, I got into his class because he liked my look, and it was all about, for him, you know, if you were if he thought that you could make it.
You are a pretty thing.
Well, thank you. But it was very difficult to get into Robert's class. So I got into his class, and I was not good. I knew nothing about acting. My thought of what acting was is memorize this thing and say it as fast as possible. I got this monologue, I'm just gonna get it out because I wanna finish it, I'm really nervous. And so, but I didn't know anything about acting. And I went to that school, and I was so shy at that time that when Robert would call my name and he would go, okay, Seth, you're gonna work with Jessica, no joke. Seth would go, and I would literally hear people like sighing because they didn't want to work with me. And so this is, once again, this has been the story of my life. I have to work so hard at anything I do, and I become successful. I became one of the best in the school, but it was not easy for me. So I worked my butt off. Like, I would literally go to other people's classes in Studio 2, and they would say, oh, you're in Robert's class? You're in that class? I'll work with you. They rehearse, because no one in my class would rehearse with me because they thought I sucked. But I just kept doing it and doing it. And then I became so great to the point where I remember we were doing a scene night, and I had a blue wig on. And someone walked by, and they're like, oh, Jessica Houde's doing 2 scenes. I can't wait to see her. But I sucked. I mean, I was so bad, but I just worked my butt off, and I became that good. And those are the people that stand out to me, is the ones that really, because it's not going to be easy. And it's just pushing through. And it wasn't easy for me, just like everyone else. And I think a lot of people kind of give up and don't put the work into it. And that's the big thing. We've got to put the work outside. I was reading like 2 plays a week, which Diana always talks about. I had 4 standing rehearsals weekly. I mean, I was working at it. And so the people that stand out to me are those ones that, you know, because that's most important in my opinion.
Eleonora.
Yeah, so just to provide some context before I ask the question, before I personally found Houde School, I was like, you know, bouncing around to different acting schools, taking classes, just like trying to find my place in this industry. And not that it was bad, it's just, I don't know, like, nothing really stuck out to me. I just felt like, oh, I have to go to class, like, whatever, you know. There's something truly special with it, and I think everyone can relate to that. So thank you. But that brings me to my question. Was this always what you like envisioned to build, or was it just something like happened gradually? Was it like people that you met along the way, and you got to this point? Yeah, like how did it happen?
So for me, it was to start just a community, and I knew I loved. Actually, when I started teaching, I was at Playhouse, and Alex had mentioned Playhouse in LA. This gentleman, Eric, and I can't remember, what is his last name? Edwards, yes. I had never planned on teaching, but at that point I just was working, you know, doing so many classes and helping Robert out with different things, Robert Carnegie. And Eric Edwards needed a substitute, and Robert said, I think that you'd be a great sub. You've been doing this for 4 years now. You're phenomenal, blah, blah, blah. So I subbed, and I just like fell in love. I just felt like this is what I was supposed to be doing. And
you didn't even think you were going to be a teacher.
No, I never, I never had any intentions of teaching until I subbed that class. And I was like, wow, I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. So then what happened was people from Eric's class went to Robert, was like, what class does she teach? I want to, you know, be in her class. So that was when Robert was like, well, let's give you a class. And that kind of happened. So I never really had planned on any of this, and I got to give props to Ryan over there because he is the mastermind. You know, yeah. I don't think we would ever have anything this big if it wasn't for him, because I'm just more like, I want to throw all my energy and passion into you guys, and I'm so fortunate to have him that kind of thinks behind the scene, like what else can we do to grow and help actors?
So all of you have been teachers. All of you have built businesses around being in the entertainment industry. So just kind of, I want to hear from each one of you in this. How did you, I guess, see your life going? What has surprised you the most? And what are you looking forward to?
Oh yeah, easy softball question to finish off. Look, I always thought I was going to be a professional soccer player when I was a kid. I was born and raised in England. That's what I wanted to do. I did that for a very brief period of time, literally like 15 minutes, and that was it. And then I fell back into like what I was supposed to do, right? Like what your parent, you have 12 years of school and then college, and like you're all these responsibilities. And I was a cube dweller, and I fucking hated it, right? And I give credit, one of my best friends that from high school, still one of my best friends today, he called and would leave a voicemail on my office phone every day for 6 months. Quit your job, you want to act. Quit your job, you want to act. Quit your job. And finally I did with no idea what, I hadn't taken a class at that point. And I did. I was like, that's a bad idea. So then I called him every day. Quit your job, you want to act. Quit your job, you want to act. And so then we did, and we just immersed ourselves into classes, and then we were like bartenders and barbacks and catering and all the service industry stuff that you have to do. Like, I've done it, man. Cheesecake Factory at the Grove in Los Angeles. Nobody looks sexy in white denim, y'all. But seriously, a random side tangent to that. If any of you watching She-Hulk? Right, so Nikki, who plays the paralegal, she used to work with me at Cheesecake Factory like 20 years ago. That's a 20-year career path, you know? It happens. Every one of us has stories of that. Our friends that are series regulars that are well-known. Everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a backstory. So I got into acting with a plan. The only two things I ever wanted to do would be a professional soccer player and be an actor. I had a plan to be a professional soccer player. Everything worked out until it didn't. And then I had no plan to be an actor, and I had to learn along the way and make mistakes and fall on my face. If you can fall forward, that's the key. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving. Fall forward, right? T-shirt number 5. But I always knew I was going to be a teacher as well. In high school, I was coaching other soccer players. In college, I taught Spanish. And in college, I coached soccer players. I worked with a tutoring organization. And then when I was in LA, I was at a wonderful studio, Stan Kirsch Studios, and I was coaching other series regulars on script analysis. Other series regulars. I had booked one co-star at the time. And I was coaching series regulars on script analysis. Holy crap. Right? And it just gradually evolved from there. I mean, what I'm looking forward to, I look forward to any time I can work with actors. New actors, experienced actors, it's a different challenge. Somebody brand new has light bulb moments every day of their first year as an actor, right? Experienced actors, you don't have those light bulbs anymore. They're razor thin margins of incremental improvement. 1% better every day. But what that means is now you're like sharpening the weapon, sharpening the blade to use it more effectively like a chef. Chef doesn't learn new blade skills, but they know how to do it with precision. And so I get really excited working with brand new actors and very experienced actors.
Oh my God, great answer. I believe that if you just follow your heart and your instinct of what you know you need to be doing, you're going to be going in the right direction, right? And so my intention was to help actors understand this business so they can be successful. There's no reason that anybody who's talented should be confused about how to navigate this business when there's people here who have done it and know how to do it. So everything that I built came from me just taking the next right step. So first I was managing, and people were sending me requests for management, and the cover letters were horrible. With the nude photos in the shower, no links in...
I did that once.
I know, and...
I did it once.
And we've been friends ever since. And thank you for that. But not knowing that you put, like, I'd like you to represent me, but there's no footage of your acting in the email. What am I representing? Like, show me that you can act. And so most agents and managers, they just delete those things. But I'm a teacher, I'm raised by teachers, and I'm born to teach, you know? So I can't have an actor in my presence that does not know what to do next. I can't live with myself unless I email that person back and say, look, please don't CC everybody you're trying to get representation from. Please don't put photos of yourself in the shower. Get some professional headshots. Here's links to what those look like. Also, you need to explain what city you're in, because I'm not a psychic, and I don't know if you've taken an acting class, and there's no footage here whatsoever, so how am I supposed to be, what do you want from me? Like, do you want representation of what? A rotten email? So, send. That's how I speak. I really don't care. That's how I speak. And it's either going to shock you into the reality of what the fuck am I doing wrong, or you're going to get offended and go do something else. Get offended and go do something else. Then this is not the business for you. Because this is a highly offensive business, so you better learn to have duck feathers. So you get that email and you go, oh my God, I'm doing things wrong. What can I do better? Then I'll say, go to my YouTube channel. Because I have spoken for at least 10 years about all the things you can do right. And I teach people how to do things right by pointing out how people do them wrong. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but I don't even think of the things to do wrong until someone does something wrong. And then I go, oh, see that? Don't do that. I wouldn't have even thought to do that, so I have to wait for the mistake to happen and then say, see that? Don't do that. And that teaches you, right? I used to keep a Word document open on my desktop. And every time somebody asked a stupid question, and there are stupid questions. Sorry, there are. Thank you. You're welcome. There are stupid questions. Like when you go to an acting class, are we going to act here? That's a stupid question. Yeah, probably. No, or shopping. I don't know. So I see questions coming in, and I just start writing the answers. So like, don't do this, do that, do this. Turns out it's like an entire PDF of 87 pages. I'm like, from now on, when people email me something wrong, I'm just going to shoot them that PDF for free. Give. I never thought of charging anybody anything. Because I believe in helping. You can make mistakes, just learn from them. And do the best you can to become who you're meant to be. And constantly come from love and try to help as many other people succeed. And if you do that, Your life will be filled with so much value. I have a beautiful, I make jokes, you know, but I have a beautiful, lucrative business because I've spent 10 years of my life giving every ounce of my soul to help others. And in turn, it's given me a great life. I didn't plan this. I couldn't have orchestrated this if I tried. I wouldn't have even thought of it. You guys, just follow your gut and your soul and do the very best you can to be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. You're not in competition with anyone else. You're just in competition with you. You're just here to be a better version of you than you were yesterday. And to love yourself more today than you did yesterday. And to be of service to other people more and be aware of other people more and how you can be of service to other people more today than you were yesterday. That's the only thing you have to do. And there's a higher power than you that's helping you navigate all kinds of beautiful things that you couldn't orchestrate even if you tried. That's my belief. Thank you.
You know, of course, I didn't expect to be here. I was 18 wanting to be an actress, you know, that was my goal. And my way of living always, and sometimes my brother and I get at it, so he's like, what are you doing? I just follow my instincts, kind of like what Wendy's saying, and if I think that it feels right, I do it. And I don't question myself, and I just make it work. And so that's what he's like, you just always make everything work, because if it isn't going to work, then I find a way to make it work. And so I couldn't be happier with where I'm at. Literally, I wasn't what I expected, but I absolutely love my life. I love my family. I love this. I love this. Like, it's so awesome to me to be able to see you guys and teach you guys every day. I never feel that feeling of like, oh, I got to go teach. Even if I'm teaching till 1 in the morning on Tuesday nights, I'm still loving it. You know, I'm so fortunate and thankful. But it wasn't what I planned, and I just always kind of go with, this is what feels right in the moment. I'm just gonna do it and then see what happens. But yes.
That's great, Jess.
I'll move on to keep it short.
You guys already heard me talk about how I got started, and I was a software developer working in the corporate world. You know, almost like brainwashed in a way of having to go to finish high school, go to college, get the degree, and then whatever your degree is, that's gonna be your life, right? And that was my mindset. I got this software or computer science degree and started interviewing for software jobs, and then just like no question about it, like that's the path of my life. And it was a great job. Like, I wasn't unhappy doing it either. Like, I had a great job, paid really well. I was able to afford a house and a car here in Ohio. Coming into the school, I think I said this last time when I came in here in February. Walking into the Houde School back in 2008 was literally like opening the wardrobe to Narnia. It was like a different world. It was something I never, or going through, what is it, platform 9 3/4, right? It's just like it's a totally different world. I was a software developer to acting. It's just like, you know, could not be more polar opposites. And of course, I never envisioned doing this when I was a software developer. And even as an actor, like my mindset of what's possible has shifted dramatically, like every step of the way. I only like kind of recently researched this, but when I first started, it was April of 2008 was when I started taking acting classes, and that was the month that the first Iron Man movie came out in theaters. So it's the first MCU movie, and even though I was taking acting classes and I went to go see that, there's no brain cell that watching that was thinking, oh, I'm going to be a part of the MCU one day. I'm going to be in one of these movies one day, right? No part of me. And even as I started progressing, started booking like local commercials and industrials and things like that, still didn't think, oh yeah, TV shows, movies, totally different, you know, ball game, right? And then going to Atlanta, started booking those, but, you know, started doing co-stars, day player roles, guest star series regular, still like, you know, not within this stratosphere. But then started booking guest stars, and then started seeing again, people in my acting classes, my peers, getting huge recurring roles, getting guest stars, getting series regulars. And now, like, just over the course of time, just the mentality, we've all had the thought of how, like, this career seems impossible, right? And even just getting an agent feels impossible. Getting that first job feels impossible. And my idea of what's possible has just, like, expanded so much over time. And not just from what I've done, but from what I see my peers doing. We've all seen the, I don't know if we have all seen it, but if you haven't seen it, look up the clip on YouTube. We were just talking about James Lipton earlier, right? Of Bradley Cooper coming back, right? Bradley Cooper was a student at the Actors Studio. There's videos of him standing up and Mr. De Niro, I have a question, and he's asking a question as the student, right? And then he comes back and is now sitting in a chair and being interviewed. And you see how, like, emotional of a moment that is for him, right? And it feels just like that for me right now, like coming back to be, because I was sitting there. And and like what when you ask, like, what's what I'm looking forward to, and it would just be amazing for me to see, you know, one of you guys that stood up today to ask a question, right? One of you guys that stood up to ask a question today, if a few years from now you're sitting up here, like, sharing with everybody, you know, what your experience was and how you found success.
We have had an incredible weekend. We've gotten to know all of you and learned so much from all of you. But I would like to just kind of get to know all of you a little more personally right now. So my question, it's one I usually ask in my improv classes. Could you just tell us your favorite movie?
That's the hardest question in the world for an actor, right? So it depends on the genre, but I'll give you two answers. One of my favorite, 1954, On the Waterfront, Marlon Brando. And the reason I became an actor, Dead Poets Society.
Wow.
Great choices.
I love all movies. But I will say one of my favorite movies is 7 Nights and 6 Days with six Nights and 7 Days with Anne Hesh, who just passed. God bless her. I watched that movie with her feisty, beautiful, sexy, independent character traipsing through the mountains with Harrison Ford at least 25 times. I love that movie, God rest her soul. And I love this movie called Baby Boom. I don't know if you ever heard of Baby Boom, but Diane Keaton is in it, and it's about a woman who's told she cannot have a baby and a career and a man and a life at the same time. She has to choose, and she says, no, I don't. And she goes on and creates the life she wants, regardless of what people are trying to tell her she can or can't be. I've seen that at least 100 times.
I'm thinking this is a hard question, so I'm going to throw a few out there. On the Waterfront is one of my favorites as well, but we'll go with Dog Day Afternoon with Pacino. He's amazing in that. The Thief with James Caan, I love. The Green Book, a newer film, is awesome. We'll end there, but I have so many. You guys all know because we do a movie of the week, and there's so many amazing movies. We'll pass.
I like any movie you guys are in.
So I'll say a couple as well. My favorite movie growing up as a kid has always been Jurassic Park, and it's still my favorite movie to this day.
It's up very well.
And then more recently, I cannot get over how amazing Everything Everywhere All at Once is. We were talking about that the other day, and pretty much every single creative person, actor, filmmaker that I've gone to see the movie with or spoken with afterwards has said, after seeing that movie, in our heads, it's like, I want to be part of something like that. It's so creative, and it's so new and so fresh.
I am a major musical person who loves to watch musicals. So I'm going to say, and I have many, but I'm going to say Singing in the Rain. Classic. Yes, love it. Gene Kelly, my favorite. And I love those. So I'm going to give you guys some of those for me because I love like Chicago, which is amazing. Moulin Rouge. I love all those movies. So those are mine. Some of them.